Hi YouTube, this is a review of my 2015 Mazda CX-5 2.5 liter 6-speed automatic Touring edition. I'm going to go over some of the features that I like, some of the features I don't like, some of the maintenance that's required that I've had to put into the car, and just compare some of the driving dynamics with other cars in the market and other cars that I've owned. So first things first, we'll look underneath the hood. This is the 2.5 liter Skyactiv engine. It's been very reliable so far. I haven't had to add any oil to it between oil changes, and I have right now around 56,000 miles on the car. Oil changes around every 7,500 miles. And acceleration from that engine I feel is acceptable. It's not anything blistering fast, it's not really fast, but it is more than acceptable in daily driving. Averages somewhere around 31, 32 miles per gallon on highway and closer to 27 miles per gallon in driving around town. The styling of the car I really liked. This is from 2015. I still think it looks really good, and I don't think it's over-styled like some of the cars on the market today, so I think that it's going to hold up well with time. It's very simple. It should be pretty durable. This does have the blind spot monitoring, which was one of the features I was looking to get on the car. That's an added safety feature. I do like that. It doesn't give you a lot of false positives for the blind spot monitoring. And it does have the turn signal indicators on there, which they changed in later years. I really don't like the way that they are on this car. They just kind of face backwards. I know later years they wrap around to the front, but it is still there, and that is a nice feature to have. One thing with this car I would recommend would be getting some kind of window tinting, so it's not such a greenhouse in there, especially in the hot summers. This car came with a privacy window tint, and I like that a lot. So to the interior of the car, one of the things that I like about the car is it has a leather wrapped steering wheel and leather wrapped emergency brake, and it is still the old fashioned hand brake as opposed to a lot of the newer cars going with the they'll go with the electronic parking brake. So I do like having the hand brake. Along with that, everything else is pretty simple to operate as well. You have your HVAC controls, which it doesn't take any getting used to. You know exactly how to operate these the minute you sit down in the car. I always thought this clock was a little bit cheesy. I'm sure they've changed that since. The radio controls are really nice. One of the features I liked about it was it's not a complex infotainment system. You have all your presets here, and even when you're driving, you can still use it as a touch button. So it's very easy to operate. You get a real volume knob. Everything's very simple. Very nice dash. It's durable. It's going to hold up to the test of time. And even the gauges are very simple. Easy to read. Very nice layout. You get your tachometer, miles per hour, gas gauge, range. That's how many miles, 56, almost 56,500 miles on the car. And you can see it's average 27.1 miles per gallon. That's mostly around town driving. Like I said, on the highway, you'll see closer to 31, 32 with the front wheel drive car. Steering wheel is nice. It's got nice bolsters on it at the 2 and 10 o'clock position. The steering itself doesn't offer a whole lot of feedback. It is electronic steering, and there isn't a lot of information coming through the steering wheel. It is weighted nicely, and it is, I like the ratio of it. It is quick enough, and it is very responsive, which is nice, but you're not going to get a lot of information through this steering wheel like you would on a hydraulic assisted car. Definitely different than the 97 Miata that I had in the past. But for a modern car, I think you could do worse. Everything's pretty easy to operate. Buttons right on the steering wheel. I do like the bottle holders they have in the doors. They fit big sport water bottles very easily. And again, everything was just easy to use. Easy layout, simple, very intuitive. The seats are very comfortable. They do a good job at holding you in place. Nice bolsters on the side. Comfortable for long road trips. Absolutely no complaints. One thing I will complain about is the door armrest is very narrow. And if you sit far back in the seat like I do, you can see that's about an inch of armrest they're giving you on the door. And I don't think that has changed sitting in the newer CX-5s that they have. So I wish that was a much wider armrest. It is very uncomfortable. It's too narrow. And I know that they have changed the armrests on the newer CX-5s, but again, they don't slide forward, which would be nice. So a lot of the armrest is behind me. It would be nice if it slid forward. I guess they don't want you to do that because of the e-brake, but that would be a nice feature. Your arm's going to be off of it anyway if you're pulling the e-brake. The back seats offer a fair amount of room. They're comfortable as well. One of the reasons I went with the front-wheel drive model instead of all-wheel drive is I feel that in the Northeast, front-wheel drive and snow tires is the way to go. With front-wheel drive, the car is going to be lighter, it's going to require less maintenance, and you're going to get better miles per gallon. So buy the car that you're going to need 99% of the time, as opposed to the car that you wish you had 1% of the time. And that's kind of the motto that I live by. So with snow tires and front-wheel drive, that's more than capable enough to handle winters in the Northeast. Swapping the tires doesn't take more than a half hour at the most. One of the features I liked about the cargo area of the CX-5 is you just have these little pull tabs on the side, and these seats flip forward, and they do fold pretty flat, and it is possible to operate that center seat independent of the other two seat backs. So if you're carrying 2x4s or something narrow and you just want it to be kind of held in place and you want to have it stored in the center of the car, you can do that just by operating the smaller of these tabs. So that's a nice feature. One of the issues, so I haven't had any maintenance issues at all with this car besides a big one, and it was under warranty, and that would be the 6-speed automatic transmission. I mostly drive manual stick shift cars, and when I first got the car, I was putting the transmission selector to the manual mode over here a lot and trying to, you know, drive it a little bit sportier, just like I'm used to shifting gears. And I'm not too sure if that's the cause of it or not, but yeah, all good. But with that, using the automatic transmission in manual mode a lot, the automatic transmission needed to be replaced at 14,000 miles. They had to replace the whole transmission. So that was under warranty, but if you were to buy this car, I wouldn't recommend shifting the automatic in manual mode, because I think that may have had something to do with the transmission needed to be replaced that soon. But besides that, no issues with the car, like I said. Going back to the driving dynamics, maybe one other thing is the accelerator response isn't as sharp as I feel it could be. They probably did that to cater to most people that drive the car and to help out with the miles per gallon, but I feel like throttle response could be a little bit sharper. What I would like to see from Mazda in the future is them, you know, maybe build a sportier performance model of this car, something similar to the Alfa Romeo, but I don't think they're going in that direction. It seems like I've driven the newer 2.5 liter turbo, and it seems more like a luxury tune to the car rather than sportiness. But I think if they shave some weight off, an easy thing would be aluminum hood, you know, a little bit more aluminum parts on the body, put that turbo engine in the car, tune it for a sportier driving dynamic, sharper throttle response, and I think this would be a really fun sporty SUV. So that's one thing I would like to see from Mazda in the future. All right, if you have any questions, just post them below in the comments. Thanks.